Now, the European Union celebrates its day on the 9th of May. It is a day to celebrate peace and unity, and to mark this day, the European Union decided to demonstrate the impact of its support in Ghana by inviting different non-governmental organizations that collaborate in the implementation of projects and initiatives to improve the well-being of the communities, to promote a greener and healthier environment, to stimulate a more sustainable development, and more recently to support the fight against COVID-19. It is on the back of this that I have some great persons representing various non-governmental organizations joining me to tell us about their projects and the collaborations that they have going on with the EU. So Samuel Lamte is Programs Manager with Act for Change. He will join us. He is in the studio actually, together with Derek. Derek is Project Manager, Sirac Development. I got that right?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, gentlemen, for being in the studio. Two of your colleagues are also joining us via phone. Nana Kwabena Asante is with Environment 360. There you are. Good morning to you, Nana Kwabena Asante.
Good morning.
Okay, and there's Richard Kweku with Plastic Punch. Richard, good morning.
Hello, good morning, and good morning to your cherished viewers and listeners.
Okay, great to have all of you. So I want to start in the studio, and I want, gentlemen, for you to tell me what your various organizations are into. So maybe Derek will start this.
So with Sirac Development Organization, we are a not-for-profit institution that's looking at enhancing the socio-economic livelihoods of the rural and urban poor within Ghana. So we're currently running the Power to the Fishes project within the coastal sections of the western and the east central regions. In addition to that, we are doing the coconut waste project, where we are transforming the waste, the hacks, adding value to these products within the landmark, in Greater Accra.
Okay.
Yes.
So how long have you been doing this for?
With the Power to the Fishes project, we've been running for 2 years now.
Okay.
Yes, and we'll be commencing the 3rd year next month.
And the coconut?
The coconut waste is just 6 months. We just started 6 months ago.
Okay.
So we have some 4 more years to go.
Okay. So how has it been so far?
So far, because the coconut waste is in very early days, we just started with the inception meetings. We've carried out a baseline study. Next 2 weeks, we'll be having our launching the coconut waste project.
Okay.
And I want to use the opportunity to invite everyone to join us in the launch.
So how many people have you employed? How many people do you work with?
Okay, so with Power to the Fishes project, we have about 13 staff on the project by virtue of EU funding. With the coconut waste project, we currently have about 5 staff on the project. And all this thanks to the EU and its support.
Okay. Samuel?
Okay, so our organization's name, like you rightly mentioned, is Act for Change. And what we basically do is it's a youth-led NGO that uses the tool of interactive theater and other participatory methods to address social issues in communities.
Okay.
So we go to schools, we engage with churches, we engage with women's group, men's group on addressing social issues such as sexual and reproductive health, sexual and gender-based violence, human rights, sanitation, and issues that are really affecting young people, women and children.
Okay, so what are some of the communities where you've done some work? Okay,
so we've actually worked in Somanya before on a 6-month project fighting child marriage. We are currently based in Jamestown. So we work in Jamestown. We've been throughout the various regions also as well, where we've done bits and pieces of our projects in as well. Yeah.
Okay. How many people do you work with?
So for staff, we have 4 staff members, and we have over 50 volunteers we work with across the country.
Okay. Yeah. And so far, has it been really impactful?
Yes, it has been impactful, but we can't also deny the fact that coronavirus has actually impacted our projects negatively, but we are trying to get the best out of it at the moment. Because, we work with schools, we work with large crowds, and most of our projects are very one-on-one basis. It's due to the restrictions. We are finding it quite difficult to actually engage with the churches and also the schools. But we are finding ways where we can also adapt to the new normal.
Absolutely. Have you had to change, for instance, your messages? You know, we had quite a number of girls getting themselves pregnant within the period when we went under lockdown.
I mean, that's one of the alarming things that we as an organization are dealing with now. We are trying to see, is it a time for NGOs to actually question their methodologies and how they are tackling teenage pregnancy? Is this an alarming way to actually get governments to be involved now? Because we all know when it comes to sexual and reproductive health education, it has solely lied on CSOs. Now it is time for government to actually take the initiative and work together with CSOs to see how we can address it.
All right. Richmond, I've seen some of the plastic collection that you've done with the pictures that we put on the screen a while ago. The beaches are virtually empty now, but it has exposed us greatly. Tell us about some of the things that you've been doing.
Thank you very much. So Plastic Punch, we have a citizen science approach where our mission ideally is to raise awareness on the dangers of plastic pollution and coming up with sustainable waste management solutions. And of course, to raise solutions, we have to bring community in contact with the problem. And these are the beach cleanups. So we have run 2 beach cleanups with the European Union. We do others on our own, but the European Union, as part of the Climate Diplomacy Week, we've had the last beach cleanup was in September last year, where we collected well over 5.3 tons of trash. This tells us the gravity or the extent of the plastic pollution problem in the country and the need for all of us to act, individuals, companies, government, and of course the media who are up to individuals to come together to help combat this menace. One thing about our beach cleanups are that we know very well it's not a solution, but it helps us gather enough data to know which pollutants we find on the beach, and thereby advising and in what quantities. Thereby, we are able to use this to advise policy and also actions at the local assembly level.
Great. Nana Kwabena, tell us about Environment 360.
Okay. Good morning, and good morning to your cherished listeners. Environment 360, we also believe in the circular economy, and we also believe in keeping our environments clean. When Plastic Punch was speaking, he talked about materials being cleaned from the beaches. So we decided to attack it from the bottom to the top approach, where we train the kids, the students. So we are having the cleaner and healthier environment in schools, where the kids are taught to be able to segregate their waste at source, so that these waste don't end up at the dump sites or in the sea. So ours is more of teaching the students. We believe there's this saying, teach the kid how they should go so that when they grow, they'll not depart from it. So we teach the kids how to segregate their waste at source. And we also teach them about circular economy. We go like waste. Some of the waste, most of the waste can be reused. So in doing that, we organize an art competition for the students, where the plastics and the papers they have segregated, they come up with art, they come up with murals for people to know that, yes, even though we call them waste, we can use them, we can reuse them to bring up other activities. So basically, we also believe in preventing the materials going to the dump site and teaching the kids so that bottom to top, so that when they grow, everybody knows the right way.
Okay, so what is the specific collaboration you have with the European Union?
Okay, so with the European Union, we are more like the implementation partners. We share similar ideologies in circular economy and circularity and green agenda. So most of the time, we implement some of the projects they have. We have Plastic Punch, we have the others also implemented. So we are more like implementing partners.
Okay. Richmond, let me stay on Zoom. So tell me how the EU is helping with what you do.
So the EU has been very supportive because, of course, we share different visions and missions together, especially with regards to the climate. So one key project we did together with the European Union was the Punch Corona campaign. At the time, that was at the time of the outbreak of the novel COVID virus. So the approach was simple. It was to spread awareness on different ways that we could reduce the spread of the virus in communities. And this was done in with different actions, one of which was we provided and donated contactless community hand washing stations to hospitals in Accra and to community centers so that people could wash their hands with soap to reduce the spread of the virus. We also distributed several reusable face masks, coupled with awareness on how to wear the mask properly and also how to care for the mask. So the campaign was to promote and remind people that we should not forget about the environment whilst we are protecting ourselves, to limit the amount of trash that comes out from people trying to protect themselves, ranging from gloves and to face masks, single-use face masks. The campaign really did very well because obviously we realized that within the period, there was not so much a rise in the cases. We went to communities who could not afford face masks at the time, really hardcore communities like Sukura, we were in Begbese, and a whole lot of other communities, and also in Nungwa. And we believe that the contactless hand washing stations also made a lot of impacts, looking at the number of people who are coming to the hospitals around that time, and for them not to come into contact with the virus via just washing hands. It's really great. So this is something the European Union has supported us with. Of course, the European Union also supports Plastic Punch with circular economy initiatives. They help give contacts because we are carrying out alternative packaging research where we want to find alternative material from vegetal fiber, which looks and feels like plastic, but not plastic. So these are some of the collaborations, but more specifically are the EU beach cleanups and the Punch Corona campaign.
Okay. Derek, you mentioned that you've got 2 projects supported by the European Union. So how much of a support do they give you, and how has that support impacted on lives?
So there's been great impact on the livelihoods of our beneficiaries, looking at the very funding that we're receiving from the EU. Talking about the coconut waste, as I said, it's in the very early days. Now with that one, we seek to commence with the construction of a center that will process the coconut hacks into value-added materials, cocoa peat, activated charcoal, and the rest. Now, this is going to provide employment for the teeming youth, and also going to rid our societies of this canker, this waste material that is polluting all over the place in our communities, wherever. Talking about the other project, so the part, and to correct you on the one, we don't have just 2 projects funded by the EU. 2 projects being funded directly by the EU. We are also serving as sub-grantees under SNV on the Green Project.
Please explain that.
So with that one, the SNV is receiving funding from the EU to carry out the Green Project, and we're being subcontracted by the SNV. So in one word, the other, we are still in relationship with EU on that project,
okay,
but it's not a direct collaboration.
I get it.
Yes. So that's for the coconut waste, that's for the green.
What kind of capacity do you have with the coconut?
Capacity?
In terms of how much waste can you transform?
So we estimate transforming about 8,000 tons annually within the Landma and adjoining districts within Greater Accra. Okay. Yes.
Okay. And then you're going on to the other projects?
Yes, so the Path to Fishes project. With that one too, we've carried out several activities, starting from, initially we started with the COVID sensitization relief donation within the coastal communities. So we took them through the ways to protect and safeguard themselves, their homes, their families, and community members from the pandemic. We donated relief items, rice, oil, and the rest, and also added PPEs where they can safeguard and protect their health. Furthermore, we carried out NHI sensitization within the communities. And this came along with the registration, they being registered onto the scheme. We've been able to sensitize so far over 1,000 beneficiaries. And we've gotten over 600 community folks onto the scheme. And this all by virtue of the support that EU is funding. And I want to take this opportunity to once again thank Susanna and the folks at EU for the consistency and the technical support that they've offered.
You want more?
More.
No, I didn't ask. Some more acts for change. I'm in love with the graffiti. So tell me, what would have happened to Acts for Change if you didn't have this collaboration with the EU going on?
I think that it will definitely going to result in over 5,000 people not actually getting reusable face masks during the height of the coronavirus pandemic. We distributed over 5,000 reusable face masks in Jamestown community. We went to the Alshatown community. We went to the Old Fadama Agbogboloshi community. We also went to the Liberian refugee camp in Budumburam as well. And with this mural, the graffiti work, we tend to reiterate the fact that coronavirus is still alive with us.
So you use that to speak to the people, because we all get fascinated when we see
exactly the point. And really, the art really is to just promote the idea to people. You see, we are coming from communities, especially Act for Change. We work in a community where most people don't actually believe there's coronavirus. So we want to really remind people that, hey, coronavirus is still with us. You need to protect yourself.
And that can be really tough, because sometimes they tell you, I want to see somebody die out of it.
Exactly. We have personal friends who, on numerous, times, they've actually said, look, I don't really understand why you are still wearing the mask. And so we had to go back and explain to them the need to actually wear the mask and follow the protocols as well. So, yeah.
Okay. So what's the future like, especially, when we are commemorating this AU Day on Sunday? And again, I'll start with you in terms of the future plans.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great honor to have actually partnered with the European Union here in Ghana. And like you jokingly said earlier, we want more.
Oliver Twist.
We do want more, because we do believe that there are still a lot more people that needs to be reached out to. There are still lives that needs to be impacted. And so definitely, yes, to a more greater opportunities together to work with the European Union and other NGOs as well.
Yeah, so Nana Kwabena and Richmond, you've said that you share a lot with the EU, and so you're grateful for this collaboration. Just help us with some of the values. What have you learned? Because you know that we live in Ghana, we have our own culture, and sometimes we learn a few things that makes our work better. So what are some of the values that you've adopted with this collaboration? Any of you could start. Nana Kwabena?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here. So one thing the EU really fights about is the green agenda, recycling, reuse, recycling. So I will entreat everybody out there. We have a lot of plastics going into the seas, going onto the dump sites. So I'll entreat everybody out there. If you are hearing us, try as much as possible. When you have plastic waste, segregate them. Don't put them in the regular organic waste. Don't take them to the dump site. There are a lot of companies out there collecting this plastic waste. So kindly do ensure that you segregate your plastic waste, you put them aside, and you contact these companies collecting them, so that these plastics don't end up in the environment. We are really harming our environment. We are really destroying so many things with our indiscriminate disposal of waste. So we should try as much as possible. As Plastic Punch said, when you see, look at the amount of waste they are taking from the beach. 5-point-something tons. That's extreme. That's huge. Why don't we prevent these plastics from getting into the seas, from getting into the environment?
Yeah.
So we will treat everybody out there. Try as much as possible to segregate your waste at source so that this menace of plastic, this menace of polluting our environment will be reduced or will be eradicated in total. So that's what I'll entreat everybody out there, everybody listening this morning, to try as much as possible to segregate their waste.
All right, great. We have to wrap up this conversation, but Richmond, how did you get the EU to recognize you? Maybe somebody is watching us and they want this collaboration as well. Hello, Richmond?
Plastic Punch. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now, yes.
Yeah, so for us at Plastic Punch, we were already carrying out periodic beach cleanups on turtle nesting beaches because we want to secure these beaches for the endangered species of turtles that call Ghana their home. So in line with this action and engaging with the communities that we serve, the European Union contacted us and mentioned they share in the same visions and that we could continue working in this regards, especially in promotion of circular economy in Ghana, for which they have done a great job, the European Union, not for only projects in circular economy, but for gender, related to gender and equity generally. So we are calling and we are hoping and looking forward to the European Union supporting other NGOs or our NGOs that are here present to build more capacity in the areas of our intervention so that we could be or can be able to serve the wider Ghanaian populace to reduce the burden on central government.
You're a very selfless person, Richmond. You're not selfish at all. Derek, so how did they find you? Did they look for you? How did you get the collaboration going?
So what happened with our case was there was a call. And we applied, starting from the concept note stage to the full proposal stage. And our proposal ended up being one of the best, if not the best. So resulting from that, we met with the EU, signed our contracts, then we started the work on the coconut waste project.
All right. Just real quick, how did you...
So ours really started interestingly. We were actually implementing an international youth exchange program between Ghana and Germany. And so we contacted the EU here in Ghana to, as part of the activities when our guests come to Accra, to be part of really talking to these young people on migration. And so that's how quickly we exchanged contacts. They got interested in what we are doing, and now we are here.
Okay, all right. Nana Kwabena Asante, I'll end with you on that. In terms of how did you get them to collaborate with you?
Okay, so as I said earlier on, we share similar aims: circular economy, circularity, and the green agenda. So we have various projects we also run. So they contacted us, and we also, as Steven said, we also put in an application. And we're also successful.
So that will be Derek.
It's just about seeing the works you are doing, and if you contact them, they just give you the help. It's been very, very helpful. I would also thank Suzanne and the team at EU for their help and support.
All right. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for telling us about what you have going on, the kind of impacts that you're making in our society, and the collaboration that you have going on with the European Union. It is my prayer, really, and it's not a selfish one, that they will continue to support you so you can make further impact. Thanks, Derek, Samuel. We had Nana Kwabena Asante and Rich also joining us on Zoom. Thanks, guys. On to another conversation.